you're here to receive a very special psychic prescription, much like a weather report, for how to best work and play with the universal energies that will be present this week. And that's the week from the 16th of May to the 22nd of May 2020. I'm Kylie Savage Psychic, and this is the weekly Oracle card reading. If you're new to the channel, then welcome. And if you've been here for a while, welcome back. I thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, and hitting that little bell so that you get notified of when these videos come out. I'm really enjoying seeing a community grow here on YouTube, and you may already know me from Facebook. You can find me there, Kylie Savage Psychic at Facebook, and I'm also on Instagram. It's Kylie lower dash Savage SAVIDGE lower dash Psychic on Instagram. You can also sign up for my monthly newsletter. Send me an email, kyliesavagepsychic@gmail.com. I can put the email in the comments. So, not last week, the week before, I changed things up a little bit and I did a 6-card reading with 2 decks. So I'm trying to remember. I know I did the Mystical Shaman Oracle. Can't remember the other deck at the moment. So this week I'm going to pull 3 cards from the Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron-Reid. And then I'm going to pull another 3 cards from the Angels Answers Oracle deck by Doreen Virtue and Radleigh Valentine. So what happens with these readings, I still want for you to choose a number between 1 and 6. Yet the top 3 cards, that's your reading. The the 3 bottom cards, what happens is they are the qualifiers of the top cards. So they're adding like further insights and clarity and some more details to those top 3 cards. So if you would like to do this right now, just take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth, relaxing down. And just choose a number intuitively between 1 and 6. Okay, remember that number because that's the number of the card whose message will just be a little bit more pertinent, a little bit more relevant for you and for whatever is actually going on for you in your life. Remember, I love feedback and comments. So if you're finding these readings are really assisting and supporting you, you're gaining something from it, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear it. Okay, the overarching question I've asked for this week is, what is it, yes, I'm reading from my notes, what is it that we need to know to remain optimistic and faithful about our future? I always ask Spirit for the question to ask, so that's a very intuitive question. So I'm trusting that not only is it assisting and supporting me with whatever's going on with this week and giving me some structure and guidance, that it's also speaking to wherever you're at. So again, please let me know. I'd love to hear all about it. Okay, and one of the other messages I got is sometimes, and I think I'm misquoting someone's actual quote, so forgive me. Sometimes the things we're loyal to and love aren't loyal and loving back. So that's just something to be mindful, and it will make more sense as I go into the reading. Okay, I also had a quick look at the astrology. You know that I love Moonology with Yasmin Boland, and this is her 2020 diary. So I may not get a chance to wish you all in the Northern Hemisphere a new moon in Gemini. New moon in Gemini. Blessings. And may your wishes be fruitful and come true. Under grace in a perfect way. Okay, so London, Los Angeles, and New York will be having that new moon in Gemini on the 22nd of May, and Sydney, it will be the 23rd of May. Now, heads up, people, so I'll just show you everything you need to know about new moon wishes, working with the moon manifesting. It's all in Moonology and in the Moonology diary. Remember to go and see your local booksellers and wherever you get your New Age things, and find out if you can pre-order or put your name down for the 2021 diary by Yasmin Boland, which I'm sure will be just as amazing as this one. Can't remember what I was going to say then. Oh, new moon in Gemini. I had quite the experience with a new moon in Gemini once, so I'm a lot more mindful of its message. It's good to look at your astrological chart too and find out where the new moon will be in your chart so that you can make some wishes on that, do some journaling, do a little bit of work on that area of your chart. New moon in Gemini is very much about communication. It's about finding the balance, looking at things in one light and then turning around, looking at them in a different light. Yet, if you have tricky communication issues or there's someone you're having a conflict with that needs to be resolved or you'd like to resolve it, or you just feel like you're not having clear, um, open and honest communication with someone or an organization or anything, the new moon in Gemini is the time to do some work on this, to, like peel another layer off the onion, develop your communication skills. Because listen, some people are amazing and effective communicators, and yet for most of us, it's a skill that we need to keep practicing and we need to keep developing and growing. Personally, communication has been extremely challenging for me, and I'm a 30/3 in the Dan Millman system, which is a double expression and sensitivity. We are all about communication, and often the thing that is your numbers, the energy that you need to work with the most, so your birth numbers, that is that is like the issue that can be, feature very strongly in your life that you really come here to work with and work on. So just know that even if it's something, it's in your astrological charts, very much about your star sign or your moon sign, rising sign, whatever, or it's in your birth numbers, just know that that's not a given that you're fantastic at whatever that is. That means it's often you've come through, you've incarnated with this particular set of numbers and astrology and all the rest of it, however we want to understand ourselves, to specifically work on this one area of life. So communication is a biggie for me. Heads up, if you need to resolve conflict with someone or you have murky communication issues with somebody, if it's a work thing, now is the time to really, put in the effort, maybe get some support and guidance and try and clear this up and get a better result, a better outcome for everyone involved. I'd love to hear how you go with it. Please get back in touch and let me know. Okay, you chose card number 1. Your card is Loyal Heart from Wisdom of the Oracle and it's in protection. So, this was the message about sometimes the things we're loyal to and love aren't always loyal and loving back. It really is about clearing out the old, making way for the new, feeling uncertain about some things. And like, I really do relate to this. Loyalty is a really big deal for me. I didn't realize how big of a deal it was until, it came up in different relationships. And the thing is, it's very important to me that if I'm loyal to somebody, that they're loyal to me back. And when they aren't, or when it seems like we're growing apart or we're drifting apart, we're on different pages, or they've betrayed me, become disloyal in some way, or I've betrayed them, then that's something that is a really big deal for me, and I really have to do a lot of work on it. So, if loyalty is an issue for you, and you can see that there are perhaps some relationships that are no longer really serving you, or someone has betrayed your trust, and maybe they've betrayed your trust again or been disloyal to you again, now is a really crucial sort of time to be looking at that. Like, we go around these things, we learn our spiritual lessons in cycles, and we're on the spiral, like the round and round card in Wisdom of the Oracle as well. So sometimes we spiral up, sometimes we spiral a bit back down, and sometimes what it is, we're spiraling, kind of on the same level, and we think, oh no, we're not here again. But what it is, we've just the next layer up, and we're looking at this same issue that we've had many experiences with. We're just looking at it in a little bit of a different way. Our perspective may have changed, our wisdom, our knowledge, our understanding may have changed, and it's time for us to have another experience with this issue or lesson at that next level. So please don't beat yourself up if that comes up for you and you're like, oh my God, someone's just betrayed my trust again. I can't believe I thought that friend was different to the other friend and they wouldn't do the same things to me. So please, we're all living and learning, and we really do need to learn to live and let live. That's really important. And if you've betrayed your own trust, you've broken your own boundaries. Nobody breaks our boundaries, only we do. Um, just be really kind, self compassionate, and forgiving of yourself if that's happened to you. None of us, get out of this life without being hurt, and sometimes hurt deeply. So just take note if that's what's coming up for you. This could be time to, kind of retreat a bit and lick our wounds and do whatever we need to do to self soothe and comfort and to get our healing process underway. And just, sometimes we just get so angry at ourselves because it's like, oh my God, that happened again. How could I let someone like that back into my life? How did I not see it? Where were the red flags? And often you unpack and go, oh, there were red flags, but for whatever self-seeking, selfish, reasons, which that's not being that's not judging that. That's just normal human behavior. There was something that we wanted out of the relationship, or there was some benefit. There's always something in it for us, and that's not a judgmental thing. That's just, us having a human life. Inevitably we see there were red flags, but we just blow right on past them. And I don't know about you, but I'm very optimistic and extremely naive in some ways, which still constantly astound me. And I can think, oh, I always want to see the best in people. And people will always tell you who they are. I think I remember Oprah, Dr. Phil saying that. I thought, it's so true. And there was a country song, some guy was singing about, I wish that person wore a sign. The thing is, we tell people who we are. And then often people don't listen because they've projected who they want us to be onto us, and they won't let us escape those projections because that's not of benefit to them. So the thing is, ultimately, we've got to take personal responsibility. If people have been projecting stuff onto us, we've been projecting stuff onto them, we need to understand, okay, what's the truth? Who are we really being in this relationship? Is that our authentic self? If it's not, what needs to, how can we course correct? What adjustments need to be made? And is this really where I want to go with my relationships? Is this healthy? Is this sane? Is this going to be mutually beneficial? Or, is this a dysfunctional relationship I'm entering into? So the older we get, the wiser we get, the more experience and knowledge and wisdom we have under our belt, we see those red flags quicker. Sometimes the intuition is a lot stronger, and then we know that we need to take good care of ourselves, adult ourselves, and take that personal responsibility and make the change. That's what Loyal Heart Protection is saying is, let's not be, I don't like the word stubborn, let's not be overly determined to just keep seeing what we want to see and to hang on to these ideals and hang on to these hopes and dreams which are not going to benefit us. We can already see that they aren't, and that we need to let go of. Sometimes, it's difficult because these are relationships we're talking about. They could be projects, it could be a job, it could be ideals, beliefs and values and morals. And this week, Spirit's really going to ask you to question anything that comes up along these lines and consider letting it go. We need to make way for the new. And what's good about that is it will be card number 4. The qualifier for Loyal Heart is big, happy changes from the Angels Answers Oracle deck. I love this. So we've got Loyal Heart there and protection. And then we've got this one, big, happy changes. So, that message of Loyal Heart is a little bit heavy. I'll be honest about that. I'll be real about that. It's a bit heavy. So there could be some loss, there could be some grief involved. And yet the qualifying card is saying, look, this is the ultimate outcome if you do the challenging stuff. If you be honest and real about where things are at and what needs to really, dissolve out of your life. always remember to ask your angels to come in. And I say dissolve, not cut, because it's just a gentler process. Dissolve any and old, cords and ties, to assist and support you to release what no longer serves you. And to step fully into who you are, the truest expression of you now. And so the big happy changes, that's kind of like the reward for doing that difficult work. Life isn't easy. That's why we need excellent support systems. So, the people that you invite into your life, like, your life's a very special thing. It's miraculous, it's a gift, it's your life, only you can live it. And you're here to play this game of life the very best that you can. You're here to have fun, you're here to have an adventure, you're here to gain wisdom and knowledge. You're here to, experience those karmic ties and things that you've had with other people, perhaps in your soul group. And sometimes it takes us a long time to understand just how special life is, and that it's really far too short. Each life is far too short for us to keep people, energy, influences, things around which are just going to get in the way of us living our life to our fullest potential and really, really enjoying our lives. And, we worry and we feel guilty and responsible for other people and things. And yet, once we step away from those things that aren't serving us, we can really get on with the business of living our best life, our life that has full of meaning and, it has so much satisfaction and contentment, and we can really have an impact on those around us. And we can live a life which is an example to others. We can be great role models, we can be inspirational to other people, and whew, that's huge, that's tremendous. Okay, change in the wind. If you chose card number 2, you have change in the wind. I really love these zebras and Wisdom of the Oracle. And the artist, Jenna, is just fantastic. Okay, so change in the wind, going on from that loyal heart and protection. This means things can get a little bit bumpy this week and going on because, like I've said, it's not easy to make these changes. Conflict could come up, tensions with other people. You're heading into that new moon, Gemini, so communication could feature strongly. You could be asserting boundaries and people could be resistant to that. So then it's about also, going within, and experiencing probably deeper levels of internal conflict as you hold yourself accountable to your own boundaries and upholding them. If you're really interested in boundaries, Nancy Levin is an amazing coach and she has a new book out and a course that goes along with it. Lots of people got lots of free resources at the moment. So a change in the wind means that things are going to get stirred up, could be a bit stormy this week. And yet remember, after the storm, the air is clearer and cleaner. Things settle in a different place, or the debris gets, washed and wiped away. And it's a possibility for new growth in new areas. Okay, so the qualifying card, which is card number 5. So the qualifying card from Angel Answers is compromise. You're probably not going to achieve the exact absolute outcome that you would like to have from that change of the wind, from whatever comes up with whatever's going on for you this week, all these things I'm talking about. So you may need to make a compromise. Just still keep checking in with yourself and saying, right, if you're going to feel really yucky and, have all these yucky feelings come up when you make a compromise, that's not a compromise, that's you've been walked over. That is you selling throwing yourself under the bus. And take it from me, when you do that and you have patterns of behavior, which are entrenched and see you doing that, um, it's not a great path to go down and it takes a lot to heal from. So compromise is not about, you getting more out of the deal than the other person or them getting more out of the deal than you. Just for example, talking about that way, compromise is about, what's a win-win, yet it's not going to be exactly, not everyone's not going to get exactly what they want out of whatever the negotiation is, whatever the deal is. So, and just know that that's not forever. Maybe you need to say yes to something, like yes to a job that you're not going to absolutely love, but it's going to get you out of a sticky situation. It's going to help you pay the bills this week. If that's the situation, please know it's not forever. Like, just, trust that the only constant is change, and you will work towards, you know, um, putting yourself in a better position, getting a better job, finding a better resolution within the relationship, whatever is, unfolding for you. So compromise. Remember, try and make it as equal as possible. That's really important. Card number 3. I'm not sure how many times I've seen this card come up in protection. I've seen it a lot the other way. Okay, deep knowing. Actually, it's a picture of the moon. I'll just show you. So it's very much about intuition, you being the oracle, going within. And when it's in protection, what that's saying is, and the more that I go into this reading, I can see it. I feel like during these times, especially if you're sensitive to it, it's kind of like there's this cloud just hanging over all of us because it's something undeniable and something that we can't get away from, even if, we've gone a bit Lulu and we're trying to deny it and we're diving deep into conspiracy theories. Do not go there, Kylie. No comment. Um, I, Guilt keeps coming up for me. I keep seeing and hearing guilt. We've got this oppressive sort of cloud up here. We don't know how long we're going to be in the circumstances that we're in. We've seen a bit of light at the end of the tunnel, and yet we're still not quite sure, um, going forward how things will be, and how much things will improve. And I really feel, when they talk about restrictions, I really feel like that cloud has kind of restricted us all in different ways. We're all experiencing the pandemic, as individuals, unique individuals, and yet there's been some very common experiences as well. So, deep knowing, I feel like what I want to say to you is don't feel guilty for taking a time out, because this cloud that's been here has possibly been responsible for us experiencing exhaustion and like compassion fatigue and some burnout. And the card actually talked about psychic exhaustion. So I'm speaking specifically to very highly sensitive people out there, the intuitives, the empaths, all that. You need to really increase the boundaries and those blankets of love around yourself. And this may be a time for some deep rest, going within and withdrawing. And I want you to not give yourself a hard time about that if that's what you're being called to do. And perhaps we're going to need more of these, time outs for deep healing and rest and recharging the longer this situation goes on. Because otherwise, you said, we're going to have that empathy fatigue. I was saying, what was it? Pandemic fatigue. Especially people who are at the front lines of this pandemic. They're, and different countries have had, greater losses, and that's got to affect the whole country's, chakras and auras, and the whole country's energy and the way it feels and thinks about itself and its whole identity and its collective loss and grief. So I reckon that Spirit's onto something here. They're giving us a really good message, and I can definitely identify with it. That please, let's take really good care of ourselves. And if we need to withdraw and have that time out, lovingly detach from the world and its problems, we can do that. And I do this a lot through prayer, and I'll be like, dear God and Goddess, I surrender myself, and I place myself unreservedly under your care and protection. They're not my words, I got them from somewhere else. But it's like I surrender the whole world to you. I surrender this pandemic to you. I surrender this relationship to you. I surrender this, communication issue I'm having with someone to you. I surrender my employment status to you, my financial future to you. How do we remain optimistic and faithful about our future? We surrender. We accept what is and we surrender to a higher power. And we say, this can be in your hands, God. This is not all on me. That's having a God complex. That's the ego talking. This is not all on me. I surrender it to you. Let me know, what's my part in it? What's your will for me? I'm willing to do that. Grant me the power and the strength to go and carry out your will for me this day. Yet, let's let go and let's be really kind to ourselves and really okay with that. Let's just put the whole world in God's hands because that's exactly where, that responsibility needs to be. We have personal responsibility, we're here to live our lives and we're connected to the whole. Yet I really feel like it's about giving ourselves some relief and knowing we're in this for the long haul. We need to keep facing up to life one day at a time, accepting life on life's terms. There's so many things to unpack in this. There's a myriad of lessons and experiences we're all having. Yet right here in this moment, what we need to do is probably rest. Okay, and the qualifying card, which was card number 6, if you picked that, was perfect timing. And I really do feel like the message is the having the rest, having that loving detachment from the world, surrendering, the whole world, the pandemic, all our loved ones, everything that's happening, surrendering and placing it unreservedly under God's care and protection, that this message is coming with perfect timing. And I trust that if we listen to Spirit's message, we take on what resonates for us, we take what we like, we leave the rest, that we're going to set ourselves up for an even more amazing month next month. And we're going to be putting ourselves in the prime position and we're going to have enough resources to be able to face the challenges of life because we're going to be rested. We're going to just be in a more serene place, more able to respond than feeling that burnout and that psychic fatigue that Spirit's talking about. Okay, I'm Kylie Savage Psychic. That was the weekly Oracle card reading. I will see you here again next week. Please get in touch with me if you have any questions or comments, or if you'd like to book your own personal reading with me. You can find me on Facebook at Kylie Savage Psychic. Also on Instagram, Kylie lowercase savage lowercase psychic, or send me an email, kyliesavagepsychic@gmail.com. Many blessings on your week. See ya.